James Turner for the untouchable true school sports. Let's go, baby. Bow.
Be careful what you wish for because it can become a reality.
Yeah. The untouchable True School Sports Empire proudly presents something the boxing game's missing. Hey, what's going on? It's your boy BT, and I came here to talk some boxing with the thousands of True School Sports subscribers. All right, so I wanted to come talk some Emiliano Vargas because he just had what I believe to be at this stage of his very young career, the signature moment of his career. Last Top Rank show on ESPN. So we're closing the book on one era, but look, we're closing the book on one era, and we're heading into another era of boxing because Emiliano Vargas, he fought Alexander Espinoza from Ecuador. Who was 20 wins, 3 losses, I think 9 knockouts. So not a big punch, not a big puncher in terms of knockout ratio. Has lost to some guys domestically in, was it Ecuador or wherever he was from. And so this was what it looked like on paper, a matchup designed by the fine folks at Top Rank, Brad Gilman and the matchmakers there, to make Emiliano Vargas look like $1 million on primetime TV, and that's exactly what it did. He did it. They did their job, and he made sure he did his job. He landed a very, very beautiful flush, pull counter, straight right hand, right? So that being said, what is Emiliano Vargas at this stage of his career? Let's go sit down. What is he at this stage of his career? Because it's early. He's not very old. He's only 21 years old. He's only been pro for, believe it or not, only about 3 years now. So he hasn't even been a professional fighter that long. And he's been moving at a steady pace. It kind of reminds me a bit of the Xander Zayas pace. He's right now 15-0, 13 knockouts. I'm gonna tell y'all like this. Look, I think Emiliano Vargas will be a world champion because guess what? When Top Rank really believes in a guy and really likes a fighter, they will make sure they look after that fighter and take the right fights at the right time. And just like they did with Xander Zayas, just like they did with Abdullah Mason, just like those guys, they're gonna do the same thing with him. And he's still right now he's not ranked in any of the top 15 of the sanctioning bodies at 140, so he can still take his time. He's a top 50 fighter, but he's not a top 15 fighter. So he's in that range where he could probably take maybe 2, possibly even 3 more fights not too far up from this level before he really has to fight guys that are in contention. So I would expect his next 2 to 3 fights to look like this. But the main point of this video, the main point that I wanted to make to you guys was that really and truthfully, I think that Emiliano Vargas has a unique opportunity to step into the shoes that were supposed to be for Ryan Garcia. And let me tell you guys what I mean by that. Ryan Garcia, he's a pretty boy. The girls seem to love him and these kind of things. He's got that quote-unquote marketability going for him. Emiliano Vargas, much like Ryan Garcia, Chicano, Mexican-American, pretty boy, just like Ryan Garcia, has a nice, pretty-looking Mexican girlfriend. Shout out to him. God bless him. And the women seem to like him, right? So that's always a good thing in anything. If you're a rapper, if you're a singer, if the girls like you, that's always a good thing because guess what? In America, the majority of the money spent in this country isn't by men, it's by women and children. So if you get the women and children on your side, odds are you're going to be successful in the entertainment business, especially in the fight game. So, good for Emiliano Vargas to have that going for him. But like Ryan Garcia had that path laid out for him, right? Mexican, American, pretty boy. He could actually fight. Ryan Garcia has a truckload of talent, but he squandered it, over the years with just drug addictions, sex addictions, all kinds of addictions, and it seems like I don't want to close the book on him, but honestly, for all intents and purposes, it seems like that opportunity to be that next big star has passed him by. Ryan Garcia is no longer he's not old, but in boxing terms, he's not like super young. Ryan Garcia at this stage of his life is 26 years old, so he's closer to 30 than he is 20. Therefore, he is deemed, on the older side, especially when you factor in how he's lived his boxing career. As for Emiliano Vargas, he was just 20 years old like last week. He's 21 years old. So with that being said, he's got a chance to become that next Mexican American pretty boy boxing star. The shoes that were supposed to be for Ryan Garcia might fit the feet of Emiliano Vargas, right? And not only do I think he can be a world champion, I think Emiliano Vargas, just because of where boxing is at, and let's not get it twisted. He's not just some pretty boy. He can actually fight. Now, defensively, I think he's got to clean some things up. Top Rank hasn't really put him in there with too many guys, especially as of late, that would really expose any of his defensive flaws. But he's got elite hand speed. He's a creative fighter, and he's a very dynamic offensive fighter. We'll see how far that can carry him, because eventually, it happens to all prospects. He's going to run into a veteran fighter in the top 30, top 20, that's going to have some answers for some things that he's doing right now. And when they have the answer to some of those things that he's doing right now, does he know how to make adjustments? Can he, does he have the answers to the questions? That's all boxing is do you have the answer to the questions? And we'll see if he does have the answers, if he does have the remedy. But so far, so good. I think he's going to win a world title because, as Top Rank showed, you want to look at a masterful job of management from Top Rank and Peter Khan. Look at Xander Zayas, right? They did a great job. He's champion now. I think Vargas' career will follow a similar path because, unlike Ryan Garcia, he seems to be a lot more level-headed, a lot more disciplined with how he handles his life outside the ring and in his temperament, So I think he's got a really good head on his shoulders. He really respects the sport and dedicates himself to it. He's not out there doing drugs. But we don't know, but it seems like he's not out here, messing around, going crazy with the broads. You don't know. We never know what these fighters are doing because fighters are crazy. Fighters are crazy, but he seems to be a disciplined person. So I'm gonna give him the benefit of the doubt. I think he'll be champion, and once he gets to that point, what I'm trying to say, guys, is once Emiliano Vargas becomes a contender, Emiliano Vargas is going to be someone that I think Top Rank not only looks to make a world champion, but he's the kind of fighter that Top Rank will look to build their foundation on. Now, we don't know what the future of Top Rank is going to hold. Bob Arum, God bless him for his old age and his wisdom, but Bob Arum is well into his 90s. He's 93 years old now. He could die in a year, so that's one thing. The second thing is they just had the last card at ESPN, as I mentioned earlier. So there's a lot of uncertainty as to what's next for Top Rank. But one thing I learned over the years about Top Rank and how they ran with Bob Arum, never doubt them. They always seem to have an answer, even when you feel like they don't. So I feel like that will continue to be the case. And I think once they find their footing as far as TV networks are concerned and things like that, I think Emiliano Vargas will be their franchise fighter. I think he'll be a guy that they look to have step into the shoes that were supposed to be for Ryan Garcia. And this is a lesson in life that when God gives you an opportunity to have something special in your life like Ryan Garcia had, you got to take advantage of it, because if you don't, in a couple of years' time, somebody else will get your blessing. And it looks like Emiliano Vargas is about to get that blessing. So that being said, those are my thoughts, man. I think Emiliano Vargas is moving at a good, steady pace. I don't think they're going to make him fight Abdullah Mason anytime within the next 3 or 4 years, so I'm not holding my breath on that. But I think, let me see, he probably fights for a world title. I'm going to say Emiliano Vargas probably fights for a world title towards the latter stages of next year. I think, he'll probably get one, maybe two if they really push for it, but I'll say at least one more fight this year, and then probably 2 fights in the middle of next year, and then, maybe if the landscape is looking right, by the end of next year, I can see Emmy fighting for a world title. When that time comes, I think that's where he steps into the position of being a guy that's not just a world champion, but a franchise fighter. So, make of that what you will. But let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. Make sure you guys take the time to subscribe. And like I say in every single one of these videos, you can love me or you can hate me, but I'm just a kid from Daniels. Until next time, take care, guys. Thank you for watching another video on the untouchable True School Sports Empire. For more great boxing content just like this, make sure you guys stay tuned and subscribe. You won't be disappointed.